Hey guys, David and Mike, the Discount Property Investors. We're coming to you today with some knowledge about some of the real estate formulas that we use in our business. All right, the 50% rule. Now, the 50% rule is a very great way to determine how much of the gross rent you are going to get to keep. Or another way to look at it is how much of the gross rent are you going to have to spend
I love to phrase
in
it that
order
way
to
because
own the property. So
expenses are huge. They're a huge part of owning rentals that people often neglect to calculate into their figures when they're analyzing a deal. So the 50% rule is very, very simple. It just assumes that whatever you can collect in rent, you're probably going to spend about 50% of that right off the top on your expenses, and that's excluding the mortgage.
It excludes your debt service. So look at it this way. If you bought a house cash, right? $100,000 house, you had no debt, right? And it brought in $1,000 a month. That'd be the 1% rule, right? But we're talking about the 50% rule. So the 50% rule states that half of the gross rent, so half of the $1,000 that you collect is gonna go out the door, and it's going to go to taxes, insurance, maintenance, CapEx, vacancy, legal and or management fees.
So
that excludes the mortgage.
And I think CapEx is one of those things that people don't realize because over the long term, you're going to have to pay those costs. Maybe it doesn't hit you right away, but 30 years from now, you're going to need a roof.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
Maybe 20 years from now, right? Or less. Absolutely. You're going to need an HVAC. You're going to need all these systems at some point. And that's things that, you know, most people don't budget for these CapEx items, Mike. Instead, what they do is they just come out of pocket when those items come due. But whenever you average it out, 50% of all the expenses are going to go to, or of all the income is going to go to rent.
50% rule.